Pastor Ruth. I serve at New Jerusalem Lutheran Church, which is between Topton and Fleetwood.
I'm Pastor Marty Milne. I'm the pastor at Christ Mertz Lutheran Church in Dryville, just down the hill from Pastor Ruth.
And I'm Pastor Jeremiah Sassman, and I am the pastor of St. Paul's Lutheran Church in Mertztown here. This Lenten season for me here in Mertztown was my 16th Lenten season in the greater community. Over the years, it has always been a community endeavor. Now, each year we've kind of added more congregations as different pastors came, different pastors retired, different pastors moved around, different congregations saw new individuals in leadership. But it really has been an ongoing growth, and it has been a very positive thing. We've had a Baptist pastor down the hill and his congregation, that is a Congregational Life congregation, join in. We've had the congregation up the hill in Long Swamp here, a United Church of Christ, join in. We're looking at a good group of congregations, and we really enjoy the fact that each season different congregations send their pastor to preach, but they also take turns in hosting, putting together the liturgy and joining together in fellowship and lots of food together. So it's not just about the worship in our greater community unity, but also about literally breaking bread together, both in the sacrament and in fellowship.
I make the joke that particularly in this area, being the new guy, I see it as almost, not quite, but almost one large church, but having many open doors. So you could go to church at this one place and not feel concerned that, oh, they might take my person, they might steal my members. No, that's not the case, because if where I am and where Ruth is geographically, there's kind of an angled line that is drawn from New Jerusalem, which is up a hill, to where I am on kind of the lower part of a hill at Christ Mertz. And then if you go all the way down to the highway, along the highway you have Hope Bowers. And just running that straight line, all of these churches have had history together. And then, that's the one end of the boundary, if you will. And then further all the way on the other end of the boundary is exactly what Jeremiah was talking about, that you have St. Paul's Mertztown here, you have the Christian church or the Christian Community Church that's over by the Radcliffe Market, you have the Bible Fellowship Church, and then of course Trinity Topton, which is smack dab in the heart of things. And then even if you want to go up the hill to the Lutheran home, you have the Community of Grace that's there as well. So just an immense Christian witness of both the Lutheran and Reformed traditions in the area.
There's St. Peter's in Topton, that's a UCC church, and Christ Along, which is back out near where Hope Bowers is. For many years there's been an active ministerium, and that's part of how we get together and support one another and share ideas. This coming Saturday, we will have a celebration of ministries where all the congregations will come together in this building and put up a display about this is what happens at our congregation, these are the ways we minister, and it's not a competition, it's sharing ideas. And if you were interested in something at mine, come join us. Or I see something at yours, I've got an idea. And the ideas have already spread just talking about them. For instance, I mentioned that we were collecting Bibles for the prison, and Redeemer Bible Fellowship their rep went back and they decided to buy 25 new Bibles for the prison. So joined with ours, we took them out to the prison. Trinity Topton heard that we were doing crocheting things for the seafarers, and they asked for patterns on how do you make hats and cowls for seafarers. They've started back into doing some yarn ministry.
And I think the other thing that it shows is not only that we seek to focus our ministries on what is important within the community. Of course, the mission and the Word of God, the mission of Christ. we also like being with one another. I mean, we've actually found ways to increase the number of services we do together. We talk about Lent, we talk about Holy Week, but there is an opportunity, now we haven't grown it as much yet, but for midweek Advent services. We have had, over the last 5 to 10 years, a community Ascension Day service, community Thanksgiving Eve services. We enjoy being together, and I'm not going to sit here and say our congregations are packed on these nights. They're not necessarily, but one thing that is true is there is a broad variety of congregations represented, worshipers from all traditions and all of our Lutheran churches. So it's definitely something that we enjoy doing. And thankfully, it not only can, but occasionally does spill over our community banks into the watershed of other communities. And we really want that to happen.
Another unique thing that is going on is that congregations are actually sharing resources to supply for one another. I happen to be the designated pastor for Hope Bowers, and their organist was serving as the organist for Trinity Topton for a period of time until they called a new director of music. And currently, their pastor, Scott Lingenfelter, is preaching on Sunday mornings, leading worship and the like, at Hope Bowers. And that's going to go on for as long as it goes on. We all know the shortage of pastors and congregational ministerial leadership on Sunday mornings is very difficult at the present time, but that shared relationship is something that I find both helpful for the congregation in need, but I'm sure it gives Trinity Topton a huge uplift because they know that they're providing a ministry beyond themselves. So as the church gets smaller, I think more and more those relationships that are built among congregations are going to become more and more necessary. Because if you can't work together now, what's going to happen when things might get tighter and even smaller and more condensed? If the trust and the love and the compassion is not there now, I don't know what it's going to look like. You know, whether it's we're working well together, whether we're banging our heads together, whether we're we don't agree on exactly the way everything needs to go. We're in conversation.
Having these conversations and talking about being one church with many doors, what is that going to look like for the future? Even for those congregations that are larger, they know that they have diminished in numbers and their members are aging. So it's a conversation that's important for everybody. And I value that it's creative conversations, not just, okay, you got so small you have to close, but okay, how does the church become the church that's needed for the future?